Today, we're going to dive into a single powerful sentence. It's an idea so fundamental, it pretty much defines the line between a free society and, well, the opposite. Wherever law ends, tyranny begins. Wow, that's a heavy one, right? It's so simple, so direct, but man, it carries a lot of weight. It's like it's drawing a clear line in the sand. Okay, it sounds powerful, but what are we really talking about here? How do you even begin to unpack that? Well, to really get it, we need to break it down, piece by piece. So let's start right at the beginning. First up, we've got to tackle the whole concept of law, because what kind of law are we even talking about here? The entire idea hinges on this one word, but the law it's referring to isn't just any old rule or some command shouted by a guy in a crown. No, it's talking about an ideal, a system of established, known, consistent rules that are there for the public good, which is the polar opposite of a ruler just making things up as they go along. And this ideal system has some really crucial features. First, the rules have to apply to everyone equally, whether you're at the top or the bottom. They have to be predictable, because that's what creates the stability you need to actually be free. Now look, we all know that laws themselves can sometimes be unjust, but the principle here is that the system is supposed to serve everyone, not just the private whims of a leader. So if that's law, what about the other side of this equation? What happens when that whole framework just disappears? And that brings us to the second key term, tyranny. This is the danger. It's what rushes in to fill the void when law isn't there anymore. So what exactly is tyranny? We might picture some sort of overt, cartoonish evil, but this quote gives us a much more precise and, frankly, more chilling definition. Simply put, tyranny is using power you don't legally have the right to use. It's when someone in authority uses their power for their own personal gain, their own ambition, maybe even their own revenge, instead of for the people they're supposed to be governing. It's just power completely unchecked by rules. And you can see the two worlds laid out so clearly here. The rule of law, that's a predictable system that protects the citizen. But arbitrary rule, that's a system based on whim. It's chaotic, and it's designed to control the subject. The difference is just fundamental. One limits power, the other makes it absolute. Okay, so we've defined law, and we've defined tyranny. Now let's get to the most critical part, the actual moment you cross the line between them. The real juice of this phrase is in those two verbs, ends and begins. It's describing a direct cause and effect, right? It's a tipping point. The moment one thing stops, the other one immediately starts. So where is this line, this boundary? Well, it's not a physical border. You're not going to find it on a map. It's an action. That's the key. The line is crossed the very moment somebody in power decides to act outside the authority the law gave them. So let's just walk through how this happens. Okay, first, you have a law that protects your rights. Let's say your right to your own property. Then, a ruler or some official acts against that law. Maybe they just seize your property without any legal process. And here's the crucial part. You're left with no way to appeal. No court will hear you. At that very second, this idea argues, tyranny has begun, at least for you. And look, this isn't just some abstract thought from a dusty old book. It is a vital, enduring principle, and its importance is, well, it's pretty hard to overstate, especially when you look at how we think about modern government. So why does this all matter so much? Well, this single idea is basically the foundation for checks and balances, all the stuff designed to limit power. It gives all of us, the citizens, a really clear yardstick to measure what our leaders are doing. Are they playing by the rules or not? And maybe the biggest thing, it totally reframes what liberty is. It suggests that freedom isn't just about having no rules. It's about being free because we are all protected by a framework of good, predictable rules. Which, of course, leaves us with one final and pretty critical question. If the law is the boundary, that fence protecting our liberty from the wild west of arbitrary power, then who's responsible for guarding that line today? Who's supposed to be watching the fence? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.